Hey everyone, my name is Josh Ponton, one of the co-founders of Asher Med, and today I'm joined by Tiffany Johnson from Life Real in California. So Tiffany started with us, I believe it was August 5th, is that correct?
Correct.
Awesome, of 2025. And since then, looking at your numbers, it's been awesome to see. You've served over 124 partners with us right now to date, 164 orders. I saw a post from you in our community that you recently did $100,000 month in high ticket sales with our model. And so today I want to give people a real kind of behind the scenes look, Tiffany, at what changed, why you made the switch to using Asher, and kind of what you're doing to scale so quickly. So for people meeting you for the first time, give us a little bit of background. Like, who are you? What is Life Real? And who do you serve?
So I've been in the wellness and health space for the past 20 years. And currently right now I'm a master health coach. I'm a lab functional specialist. And then I also have a team that they're estheticians, body sculptors. And the goal for us is we really want to have that longevity piece for all of our clients. And so we've been really working towards making that happen. And so a lot of the clients that we have and patients, they're between the ages like 35
Yep.
and all the way up to we have somebody that's even 80 years old.
Wow.
And so and the goal there is just to let people know that it doesn't matter what your age is. I mean, everybody's going to have the same shift once they become 35, like hormones start to shift, body starts to change. And so what we want to do is we want to be there to be able to provide solutions so people can feel young again and they can feel really good about themselves and they can be confident. And a lot of our clients, they're working professionals. And so they don't have a whole lot of time to take care of themselves. So it's like we have to be where we can meet them in the middle and really help them take them to a different level so they can feel like whole again.
Yep.
And so that's one of the reasons why we started this business. I personally believe in holistic healing, biohacking, all the things that can help us feel good. And so peptides was one of the things that I've been, looking into. At first, I was on the fence whether or not I wanted to bring them in just because I wanted it to be more natural. And then I realized that peptides are natural, and there's a lot of things that are helping behind the scenes with, just DNA in general and helping people put things back together with different building blocks. And so it's like once you have that spark and that connection, now things can start to shift and change. And I noticed that with the GLP-1 specifically, we were getting better results because now the inflammation was down. Now people can actually focus on no food noise. They can focus on if they're in menopause, they can really focus on what it takes to really heal, and they can get their body back into a state of being able to heal. So with us on the back end being able to facilitate that, it's been really nice because we get to see the changes from start to finish. And what's really helped us be successful is we have a really good marketing team. We have several. And also the sales processes that I've put together and built myself personally. And high ticket is something that I've been in for quite some time. So I like to build out value. And when I have the value in place and I have that sales process in place, and I can train my staff and my team to do the same thing and to be able to know where to come in to upsell, then it makes it a lot easier. We're all in sync with one another. And so it's not just me saying something, it's my staff. They say the same exact thing that I'm saying. And so when they see that and it's repetitive, now we're building a brand. And that's really what our goal is.
Man, and you are making my heart so happy right now, Tiffany. I'm smiling ear to ear, mainly because one of our biggest things, and you've heard this before, is Asher is here to bridge the gap between wellness and medical. And so, what's really important there is not just the great medical arm, it's the piece where we have partners like you who are truly looking at the holistic wellness approach to how does someone have a better quality of life, right? And so, that's something that you're doing, which we are really incredibly proud of and proud to call you a partner because that's what we love to see in our partners. So, take us back to before Asher, right? So you were already actually marketing semaglutide and selling packages and things such as that. But what problems were you seeing behind the scenes with kind of your process before you started working with Asher?
I had been with, selling GLP-1s for about 6 months prior,
Yep.
working with Asher. And the process was really just challenging in general. We would put in an order. I'd have, I have an ND. She'd hop on a call, but we could only do the calls for Mondays and Tuesdays. That's the only time that she'd be available. So I'd have to get everybody scheduled in that Monday or Tuesday. So they'd come in for a consultation. Then I'd say, well, I can't do anything for you today, but let me get you scheduled for next Monday or Tuesday. And then once that came on, then they would have a Zoom call with the provider. And then the provider would say, okay, this person's a go or not a go. And then we would do the prescription after that. And then it would take, we were with Strive, and it would take us about 2 to 3 weeks for them to finally get their GLP-1 or whatever medication it was.
Jeez.
So it was a it was a long process.
So you're almost 3 weeks in, a month in before like start to finish. And we all know, like, especially in high ticket sales, like time kills deals, right? So
Yeah.
was that impacting your sales process with the length of time it was taking to fulfill?
It didn't, no, because we were really good about explaining the why.
Yep.
But it was hard because, there was a lot of follow-up there. We didn't have a care
Mhm.
team that was sending messages and saying, hey, this is when this is going to be delivered. And, so it was like we had to be the care team on the back end for that as well. And so going back into Strive, their back end, and just seeing when that was going to be shipped, getting all of the details, that was a challenge too, because now we have to be in the forefront of that. Whereas now I don't even have to worry about that. It's like it goes in. And then next thing you know, your care team's taking care of that AstraMed. And then from there, I'm just like, okay, I'm done. I can go and, see if something's been delivered or if it's on route, but I don't have to sit and babysit it as much as I was before.
That's really cool to hear. And so what made you confident to move forward with Asher? You're coming from this place, you're seeing like, hey, this is how the process is working for you previously, right? A lot of people promise a lot of stuff when it comes to delivery of medications, the care team. I don't know if that was a new concept for you that you heard as well, but like, what were you thinking when you were kind of in the process of talking to our implementation specialist about getting started?
Well, at first I thought it was too good to be true. I said, no, there's no way you guys could do that in that period of time. And then, there was the fee too. And I thought, okay, well, why are we having to pay a fee? But then I was adding everything up. I was adding what I was paying for the doctor. I was adding up all of our time. I was adding up, just the team that I had to have run this with me. And that was costing a lot of money. And so I said, you know what? It's okay. Let's go ahead and pay this. It's worth it. Let's see if this really is working. And I put my first order in that same day, I believe. I did all of the training I needed to do that same day because I just really wanted to get through it. And then the next day, I saw this message saying that the medication was going to be delivered. And I was like, the next day. And then all of a sudden, it was like, oh, I get this. I can do this. And so then that's when I started really just pushing it as much as I possibly could. And so pretty much everyone who comes through my door, there's some type of peptide that we're going to be putting into that package for them.
Wow, that is incredible. And for you, is there like using the software, sending your clients over? Because one of our philosophies is that we don't want to, we're not here to take your clients, right? You don't send us your clients and we sign them up and then give you back a commission, right? You own that from the beginning of your sales process. But how has been your experience with using the software, getting your clients intake forms? Walk us through. Has that been an easy experience, hard experience? What has that learning curve been like?
It's been really easy. There hasn't been any challenges whatsoever. I think it's actually been the best thing that, could have happened because it's just real simple. You just log in, you just pick what you need to pick, you just send them the medical form, and it takes like 2 seconds. So once that's done, and then when they're here with me, if they've got questions, then I can walk them through some things and we get it all done just right when they're here. And then that way they don't have to go home and, try and figure it out on their end. And it makes it just so much easier.
That's amazing. And then for your clients, right, to kind of go from that original process where, maybe sometimes it takes 2 to 3 weeks just to even get the medication, has it changed your client experience at all, with being able to have a faster and more consistent fulfillment timeline?
Yeah, so there's been a couple of people that had previously purchased before and got set up, and they were in that 3 to 4 week period. And now they're like, wow, how did you make this happen? This was really fast. So it's been an eye opener for them as well. And it's been a lot better because even competitors, there's a lot of other companies that offer, GLP-1s, but nobody has everything all together like AstraMed does. And so they still are trying to figure it out. Like you guys are just on the forefront and it's like they're just trying to catch up and they're just trying to to try and take it to that level. But for the most part, everyone's like, yeah, it's still taken 2 to 3 weeks for me to get anything, and I can't get a hold of anybody. And what's going on? But then I come over here with you guys, and you guys know what you're doing. So it makes it a lot easier.
Awesome. Well, that makes me proud. Our team is awesome. So I'm going to let them know that. They will love hearing that. And then for you, I want to talk about something, and this is not something that, you learn from Master or anything like that, because you have been pretty much a savage with high ticket sales, from the get-go. And so your average package, I believe you're selling for somewhere around $4,000. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Can you walk people through a little bit? Because this is where you shine a lot, is your sales process, how you're selling a $4,000 average, package to someone. Walk us a little bit through, like, what is that sales process like for your clients, from start to finish?
So for start to finish, I like to build a lot of rapport, but in a simple way. So what I'll do is I'll have them, when they come into the clinic, there's a form that they fill out and it's specific to whatever they're coming in for. Then that really just gives me all the breakdown of what I need to do, so I know exactly what to do in my consultation.
Yep.
And they fill the form out. Then I personally go out to the front in the lobby, and I'll pick them up and I'll just say, hey, come with me. My name's Tiffany. I'll introduce myself.
That's good.
And yeah, I don't want my front desk to do it, because then it looks like they're going back to basically a lion's den, right?
Mhm.
So I want it to be a warm feeling when I first meet them. So I'll go out, I'll say, my name's Tiffany, greet them, bring them back, ask them if they had to drive, very far to get here. And then I'll ask them, did you find us on Facebook? Did you get referred by a friend? And then we have that conversation. Then they come in, I have them sit down. And then I pull the form up. I said, I've looked at your form. I see what's going on, and I really just ask them a lot of questions about why they put what they did on the form. And then I ask them, what's your lifestyle like? What are you eating on a daily basis? What's your nutrition? Do you work out? How consistently are you working out? Have you lost the 5 pounds and then gained the 5 pounds back, or 20 or 30? So really just kind of getting into a deep dive of where they're at in their pain points.
Yep.
And and then from there, that's when I start asking for permission to provide solutions. And when they tell me what they need, then I say, okay, we've got lots of people in the same boat. We've worked with X amount of people. This is what we've been doing. This is what, specifically you're telling me. And I'm really building out, that whole program with them that entire time. And then once that's done, I let them know, this is what we're going to do first. This is what we're going to do second. This is what we're going to do third. And then after that's complete, then, let's go over pricing. And then I go into my pricing. Okay, so normally it's X amount, so $8,990 for this package in particular.
Love the
And
price anchor. Good.
and then I say, and what we're doing, because you came in on this promotion, is that we're going to be offering this to you at, a discount, but you're still going to keep the value of the package. So it's not going down. And so for today, you get some bonuses. And if you decide that today's not the day you want to sign up for a package, I completely understand. Just know that the bonuses are what you're losing. You're not losing the price point, it's the bonuses. So that $8,990 includes those bonuses. So if you want to just get body sculpting only, I completely understand. But the problem is that these GLP-1s, I sell them for $3,000, and that's for 3 months. So if you really want to start with this and you really want to change your lifestyle, then this is something that I would recommend doing now, because we're doing it for free for the first 3 months.
That is amazing.
And that's when they say, okay, let's go ahead and do it. And then I say, we've got some financing options. If it's too much for you to come out of pocket, 0% interest. I do cherry care credit. And then I let them know, this is exactly what, it's going to be. Let's see if we can get you approved.
Man, that is so good. Right. And it's one of those things where it's like, one, we love that how you are weaving in the medication into that process, right? You're not just simply just trying to just sling meds by themselves. And then number
Yeah.
two, it's like, that's a very, what we call a diagnostic sales process, right? We are truly like looking at the individual, what's going on in their lives, and then tailoring that full package to them. And then what you see is people will spend more, they'll be more excited, and they'll be happy about it after signing up with you. So no wonder you are selling $4,000 packages. Not surprised at all. So Tiffany, I mean, first off, congrats. on the business model. Congrats on the success that you had so far. We love to see it. I'm very proud of it. If another, clinic or wellness business owner is kind of watching this video and they're, maybe they're already marketing, they're getting interested or whatever it may be, but they're kind of on the fence of do they weave in medical services or a company like Asher Med into the process? What would you have for them? What would you tell them?
I'd say 100% because this is the future and this is where everything is going. I've done it without adding peptides and different things in before, and it's a slower process. So you still see good results, but to keep people motivated, people really want to start seeing things right away. And I've noticed that just by adding a little bit of peptides into what they're doing for their routine, they're finally starting to see results again. And so if you really want to keep your clientele, you've got to be doing what the future is. And this is really what the future entails.
That's so good. That's so good. And then for someone who just got signed up with us, maybe they're just out the gate, right, running, where would you kind of hone in their focus? What should they focus on in maybe like their first 14 days to get momentum?
Their sales process and their marketing.
I would agree with it, right? Establish a really good sales process. I'd probably say that's the number one focus.
Mhm.
Because from there, then it's make sure the marketing matches that and then just do the work, right? Do the consults, do the work and learn the skill set. So Tiffany, thank you so much for taking the time today. We appreciate it. And I'm excited to see what the next couple of months and the future has in store for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it and I appreciate your time.
Absolutely.